Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be having a look at a 6x6 puzzle with a very, very strange rule set. It's called Qaak. Oh, well, I think that's how you say it. It's Qaak. Is there another way of saying that? Is there another way of saying that doesn't sound rude? That's a question. It's by dumediat. Is that? Oh no, this is dumediat. Is dumediat, isn't it? Dumediat, because I've done dumediat puzzles before, and I remember having it explained to me that what looks to me like it might be dumediat is actually pronounced dumediat. And it's been recommended to us a few times. And the reason I think this is a very strange puzzle is that it's one of these puzzles that's called Quatre Quadri, which means that although we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every box, obviously, as this is a 6x6, you can't put the digits 1 to 9 in each row. You just have to not repeat digits in a row or column. Anyway, this is what we're going to be having a look at, and apparently it's rather brilliant. And yeah, well, I'll read the rules in a moment or two's time. What to tell you? Well, no, not quite by the time you're watching this. If you're watching this the moment it comes out, it should be 8:30 p.m. UK time. Well, at 10 p.m. UK time, Mark and I are going to be streaming ourselves playing a game. We're going to be streaming a game called Cryptmaster, which I don't know what to say about this. I don't know much about it other than it's some sort of word-based Dungeons and Dragons game that's sort of cryptic. So it sounds like it ought to be right up our streets. Anyway, we're looking forward to having a go at that, and we'd love to have your company if you're around. So 10 o'clock UK time. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. Other than that, over on Patreon, we've got our Hollywood Sandwiches Sudoku hunt, which is our competition for the month of September. It closes on the 20th, so have a look at that if you haven't had a look at it already. There are some help is available if you get stuck, especially on the early puzzles, over on the Discord server. If you go to the fan Discord server and look on the Patreon only chat channel, you will find some useful information. Sorry, my glasses have got a smudge on them, and that's going to disturb me. As probably the look of me without glasses will disturb you. I'm sorry about this, but I'll just clean my glasses and then I will go back to looking the way you probably are expecting. There we go. I'm back. And well, anyway, let's do some birthdays. I've got four sort of birthdays, one anniversary to do. King, you've turned 33 today. And I know this because your girlfriend Manon over there in Amsterdam wrote to us and told us you're currently on holiday in Croatia, which I gather is a very beautiful place to go away. And the two of you have been together for 2 years. And since you've been living together, which I gather is about a year, you've been watching CTC a lot. So thank you both for watching. And King, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today with, of course, chocolate cake. Now, next, I think I'm a day late with this, hopefully not $1 short. But Marcy, your husband Brennan wrote to us to say that I think yesterday was your 20th wedding anniversary. The two of you are from Louisiana, but you're on a cruise, presumably to celebrate your 20th anniversary. And you probably won't get this message until you reach Jamaica. Which might be today or it might be in a week's time. I couldn't discern everything I needed to discern from Brennan's message. But anyway, Marcy, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant 20th wedding anniversary. It might have been yesterday. Yeah, and if I've got the day wrong, I apologise. But it's a good excuse for cake. And yeah, well, I'm sure they have cake on cruises, don't they? Cruises are quite exclusive, I believe, never having been on one. Anyway, next birthday, Maya. Is it Maya or is it Maya? I think it's more like to be Maya. You've turned 21 today, and I know this because your mum Ruth wrote to us and told us you're an avid watcher, so thank you for watching, and that you're getting chocolate cake today. So Maya, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant 21st birthday. And then finally, Anna. Anna, I'm not sure if it was your birthday yesterday. It might have been yesterday, I'm not sure, but your partner Antonia wrote to us and said that the two of you have been together for 6 years. I'm not sure if that coincides with your birthday as well, but I think it must be around now. So Anna, many happy returns. Congratulations on the anniversary. And I hope, Anna, that you have a great day with, of course, chocolate cake. And that is all the news. So let us turn our attention to Qaak, I'm going to say it that way, by dumediat. These are the rules of the puzzle. We have got place the digits 1 to 9 once each into the 3x3 boxes. Digits may not repeat in the same row, column or box of the 6x6 grid. Okay, so that's what I expected based off the rules as I understood them to be. So you can't repeat a digit in this column or this column or this column, but you have to achieve a complete set of the digits 1 to 9 in each of the 3x3 boxes. So it's a very peculiar rule, because I don't think Sudoku is going to work in quite the normal way. Now we've got anti-diagonal today. Each of the 2 marked diagonals contains only 3 distinct digits. So whatever these digits are, let's give them... Oh, I don't know how to do this actually. I'll make them A, B and C. If I could type, I would. That doesn't bode well for later in the Crypt Mastered game. Then if these are A, B and C, these 3 cells are also A, B and C, but not necessarily in the same order, is how I think it would work. So perhaps we could have A, B, C, something like that. I think that's how the anti-diagonal rule works. Then we've got arrow. Digits along an arrow must sum to the value in that arrow's circle. So those 2 digits sum up to that cell. So if this was 3 and that was 4, 3 plus 4 is 7. That's what we'd write into the circle. Killer. Digits in cages must not repeat and sum to the small number in the top left corner of the cage. So we've got 3 cages today. Those sum to 23, those sum to 11, and those sum to 13. And they are all the rules. Although it does say, note that in Sudoku Pad, the killer calculator may not give all valid options. I don't know what that is. I mean, I think Sven has built in something into Sudoku Pad that allows you to, if you click on a cage, it might tell you all the possible ways of adding up to 11. But I don't know why it wouldn't work in this puzzle. That's really peculiar. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play Let's Get Cracking. So let's think about this. I was about to start with the 3 cell arrows, but actually they aren't as good as I thought, because we could have 1, 1, 2, couldn't we? Which would make this only a 4, which is not actually going to be terribly interesting. Hang on a minute. What have we got here? Not very much. On the negative diagonal, we've got a repeated digit. Those 2 digits are the same digit, aren't they? Because of the funny... the arrow just poking in there. So those 2 digits there, let's make those light green. They're the same as those 2 digits in some order, because we know that on the diagonals there are only 3 digits. So if these 2 digits are the same, those 2 digits are the same as those 2 digits, which means these 2 digits are 10 different from those 2 digits. So the minimum sum of these is 13, I want to say, because the minimum sum of those 2 squares would be a 1-2 pair. So these must be 10 greater than a 1-2 pair, at least. So these are at least 13. So they're 13, 14, 15, 16 or 17. That's not going to be important, I don't think. Ooh, okay, sorry, I've not got anything yet. It's not going to be this diagonal, is it? I don't see how this diagonal does anything at all, I have to say. I'll come back to this. These two digits. That's right, isn't it? What I've said there. They must, because these digits, whatever they add up to. Let's say they added up to 8. Yeah. So if these added up to 8, then those would add up to 15, and these would add up to 5. And that makes total sense by maths, because 23 and 13 are 10 different. So if there's 2 digits in common, yeah, okay, that is a little bit interesting then. So there are 2 digits in common between this cage and this cage, but there are not 3 digits in common. Because if there were 3 digits in common, then the other digit would have to be 10 different. So let's say these 2 cells, or those 2 cells, were the same digit. Then these 3 and these 3 add up to the same number, and this one would have to be 10 greater than this one to make the cage totals work, and that's simply impossible. So there is no... So these 2 digits are different from these 2 digits. I don't know what colours to use. I use those colours. So there's all sorts of weirdnesses going on, is what I can now see, because yeah, the orange digits, they must be in box 1, because box 1 contains all the digits, but we know that we know the orange digits are not the same as the green digits, they're not the same as the blue digit, and they're not the same as the purple digits. So the orange digits are in those 4 cells, but I don't know where. And the purple digits must appear in box 4, and they're not the same as the green digits. We've worked out they're not the same as the orange digits, and they're not the same as the blue digits. So the purple digits live in there. And therefore, but we know that the orange digits are lower than the purple digits. Yeah, that must be true. Both must be lower, because otherwise the other digit would have to cater for more than 10 of a difference. So both purple digits are higher than both orange digits. So I want to say that you can't put an orange... No, that's not true, is it? No, that's just not true. That's absolute nonsense. Because what you've actually got here, we don't know the... Oh, well, no, we've got... 2 of these 4 digits are orange, but 2 of them are not orange, and 2 of... Oh, well, actually, that's interesting. I've just thought of something else. The 2 digits here that are not orange, I've made them green, dark green, but those digits have to be in here, don't they? So they're also... So the 2 dark green digits, which are the 2 digits up here that are not orange, are also... the 2 digits in this foursome that are not purple. Yeah, okay, so now the okay, this is going to be very hard for me to try and explain, but what I'm saying now is, let me just go to the line drawing tool. I'm saying those 4 digits there and these 4 digits differ in value by 10. Because the difference between orange and purple is 10, by the cages, and I know that these little foursomes that I've just outlined with the red lines contain 2 digits that are what I'm calling dark green, but those 2 digits are in both foursomes, so they don't account for the difference between the values of these foursomes. The total difference is the difference between the purple and the orange digits. So no, it's at now it's going to get complicated actually. So I was about to say no, this is hard. This is now. If we look at those, is that a good colour? No, it's a terrible colour choice. Sorry, let's make those yellow and these yellow. This is complicated because the difference between the red lines we know is 10. So that's catered for, if you like, by these arrow cells, but the arrow cells don't all go the same way. What do I mean by that? So we know purple. We know the. Actually, I should use different coloured lines, shouldn't I? Let's make this bottom line black. Right. So the black line is 10 greater than the red line. But imagine this square was a 5. Now, if this square is a 5, what that digit is doing is making the red line bigger than the black line by 5, isn't it? Because whatever this black digit is, we're adding 5 to it to get its equivalent over here. So this digit, and therefore this digit, because those arrows are going the same way, these 2 digits they're adding to the difference of 10. Yeah, okay. So what we're actually doing, although we know that overall the difference between the black line and the red line is 10, what we're doing, we're going to need another colour here. Those cells, I'll make those red for a moment. These red cells add up to some number that is greater than 10. It's so that these red cells add up to at least 12. And the way I'm getting that is imagine these only added up to 11, the red cells. Then that would imply that the difference between this part of the red line and this part of the black line was 11, but we know overall the difference has to be 10. These would be at least double 1, and so that's sort of shifting things back in favour of the red line again by 2 at least, so the overall difference between the red line and the black line could only be 9. So the red cells add up to at least 12. Okay, so if the red lines add up to at least 12, these 2 squares are at least a 1-2 pair. So these 2 circles are at least 15, so they're at least equal to 6. Hang on. 13. Is it the secret here? I haven't even thought about the secret. 13, 32. No. Oh. Hang on, sorry, my brain's gone off in a different direction now. What I was thinking about was, I don't think the secret itself works, but something else might work. I was thinking that the Sudoku secret, which is something I share with only my very favourite people, but of course, if you're watching this, I'll definitely share it with you. The Sudoku secret is a complete box of a Sudoku, not a complete row in this puzzle and not a complete column, because there are only 6 digits in the rows and columns of this puzzle, but a complete box in this puzzle, because it has to contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, adds up to 45. So if this adds up to 13, these 5 cells add up to 32. No, but I mean, you can deduce fatuous things from that, like there must be 8 and 9 in this congregation of 5 cells, but we could have just deduced that instantly by looking at 13 cage. 13 cage can't have an 8 or a 9 in it, because if you did, let's say you made that an 8, the minimum of these 3 digits would be 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 add up to 6, and 8 plus 6 is 14, and 14 is more than 13 QED, so that doesn't work. So there's definitely 8 and 9 in here, but one of them might be a blue digit. If they weren't, no, then it gets no, that's horribly complicated. Sorry, I was trying to map these onto here, but only 2 of them map onto there. Some of them are going in here. Okay, the other thought I had was the 13 cage must contain a 1. And the reason for that is try and do it without a 1. 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 14. 14 is greater than 13, a knowledge bomb. So that won't work. So there is a 1 in the 13 cage, which is either a green digit or an orange digit. If it was an orange digit, it would have to be in, it would have to be in the tip of an arrow, which is very, very, very likely. It couldn't be in a circle, because obviously these circles are summing at least 2 different digits. So that's unfortunately not going to be very helpful, is it? The minimum size of those 3 digits is 10. It's not 6. I don't know what that's doing, but I was thinking about these 3 digits. What's the lowest they could be? It's not 1, 2 and 3, because then you couldn't make the 11 cage. So the minimum size 6 different digits can be in Sudoku is the triangular number for 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. So these must add up to at least 10, given that these add up to 11. But the problem with that is that that's not very useful, because well, although there's one, I can see one thing as a result of that. But what I was going to say is, it's not very useful, because you don't know, even if this did only add up to 10, you don't know which are the sort of red, you don't know the split between the red digit and the yellow, red digits and the yellow digit. But, okay, the one point is that this is not a 1. And the reason this is not a 1 is we've just said that these 3 digits add up to at least 10. So if this is a 1, these add up to at least 9. And that won't work, but for this arrow would then have to have a double-digit total. So that is at least a 2. Now that... So now the red digits... Yeah, so now the red digits. So now the yellow digits are a minimum of 1 and 2, aren't they? They're not double 1 anymore. That means the red digits, which have to overall make these account for a 10 difference. So if these are counting a sort of -3, these have got to now add up to 13 at least. And these are at least a 1-2 pair, which is 16 at least. So that gets me rid of another degree of freedom here. These now can't have a 6 in, because they have to add up to at least 16. And one of these is a 9, because it's either now 9, 7, that's the only way of getting to 16 in 2 different numbers, or 17, which is going to be an 8-9 pair. But now, if one of these is a 9, oh, I don't know. Well, okay, here is another point that arises from that, which is that the way I got to 17 here was making these a 1-2 pair. Sorry, the way I got to 7 and 9 here, 16. I don't know if I said that. I'm concerned I said 17. The way I got to these being able to add up to 16 was by making this a 2-1 pair and these a 1-2 pair. Now, these could be a 1 and a 3, but they couldn't be a 2 and a 3, could they? Because if these were 2 and 3, given that we know that the red digits add up to at least 13 now, plus 2 plus 3 is 18, and that would require double 9 here. So one of these is a 1. So it's really quite close to breaking. Because if that's a 1, that would be a 1. Yeah, oh, that's so weird. But then you can't really do Sudoku, can you? Because yeah, there's just, what that would mean is there's just no 1 in column 2 at all, which is fine in this puzzle. Don't know. If that's a 2, we worked out this could... Yeah, this couldn't be a 1 because we said that would make this too big. If that's a 2, don't we have to put 1 in the 11? Yeah, so if that's a 2, you do have to put 1 in the 11 cage. Because if you didn't, how would you make 11? The minimum you'd have in that cage would be 3, 4 and 5, and 3, 4 and 5 add up to 12. So if that's a 2, there is a 1 in here. But you don't have to have a 1 here, do you? We know this isn't a 1. But if that's a 2... No. Boom. That won't work. Well, okay, my gut reaction is that won't work. So maybe this has to be a 1. Right, okay, so... Right, let's be very precise. I've worked out this can't be a 1 because these would have to be too high. I'm now going to claim that this can't be a 2. And this might be wrong, but that's where my instinct is it breaks these squares. But let me just... Let's see if that is correct. Because if these add up to 4 now, which is the least they could add up to, given this can't be a 1, and I'm saying what happens if this isn't a 1, if this is greater than 1, the minimum these squares add up to is 4. Therefore, in order to achieve overall a difference between the red line and the black line of 10, the red line, the red digits have to add up to 14, don't they? But what on earth am I putting in the arrow tips then? I can put 1 into one of them, but the other one can't contain 2 if these are two 2s. So the other one would have to contain at least a 3, and that means the arrow tips would add up to 4 plus 14 is 18 again, so these would be double 9. So how is this not able? This must be a 1 is what I'm thinking, but that would make that a 1 as well. I'm just going to think about that for a moment. Is there something I've missed there? If I make that... No, it doesn't work to make these any bigger. Because we're already closing in on the absolute maximum. If this isn't a 1, it's at least a 2. These are at least 4. You can't make this work. And if I make this even bigger, say, let's say I make it 3, then I've already broken the world. Because now, although I can make that a 1-2 pair, because these add up to 5, these have to add up to 15 to make the difference. Well, this is really clever, by the way. dumediat, this is really clever. Yeah, it doesn't work, does it? Because if these are adding up to 15 minimum and these are a 1-2 pair, again, we're getting to 18. Right, so this is a 1. And I know one of these has to be a 1, and it's now that one by Sudoku, which I am actually allowed to do when I get a digit in a row or column. So now, well, now there's a 1 on this diagonal, and it's not here, so there's a 1 in one of those squares. If that's a 2, we know the 1 goes here. I don't know what that means. Hang on, 1. Yeah, 1 is now in a cell that is either orange or dark green. But in this box, the 1 is definitely an orange digit or a light green digit, which it can't be up here. So 1 is an orange digit. Okay. Okay, I don't know what that means. This is either a 2. If it's a 2, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it might be able to be a 3. If it's a 3, 4 here, 14, 17 with a 1-2 pair. But I don't think this can be a 4. That's going to be too big. Because if this is a 4, we've got 5 here in favour of the red line. So we must have 15 in favour of for the reds in order to equate the difference. And then these are at least a 1-2 pair, which is going to make these double 9. Yeah. So this is 2 or 3. But it's... Okay, so that digit, whatever that is, has to appear in one of those 2 squares. Because it must repeat on this diagonal. That's 2, that's 1. Wait a minute, hang on, that is problematic. I do not like that. That doesn't work. This is not 2. Oh, this is... I've done it, I think. I think this is a 3. Right. Okay. If this is 2, what is wrong with the following logic? Yeah, it doesn't work. This is so clever. Right. If this is 2, what is the absolute minimum sum of those digits, those 5 digits in that are remaining, that I've just highlighted, these 5 digits here? Well, it's 19, isn't it? Because the triangular number for 6 is 21. If I take a 2 out, I'm left with 19 as the minimum those 5 digits could possibly be. But these are exactly equal to 11. So these are an absolute minimum of 8 if I do put a 2 in here. Well, 8 plus the 2 on the arrow is 10. It's a double-digit number, which this most certainly isn't. So I can't put 2 here. But the weird thing is that's got to... Oh, I see, because if this is 3, I can then make that a 2, and then this doesn't break. Yeah, this is... Okay, so if this is 3, which is the only other thing I think it can be, let's just rehearse the logic then. Now I'm claiming that these can add up to 7, which mathematically is true, because again, the minimum sum of those 5 cells is 21 minus the 3 here, which is 18. If those are 11, these are an absolute minimum of 7. If these are 7 and I make that a 2, I can just keep this down to 9. So this isn't 9. And somehow or other this must balance. So now, okay, so now the red digits we know the exact total of, don't we? In fact, I'm going to get this digit exactly. I think this is going to be an 8, because I know the red digits have to offset the minus 4 here. So the red digits add up to 14, but these add up to 7. So these add up to 7, plus 1 is 8. Oh, this is nice. Right, 3 has to repeat on the positive diagonal. So how do I make those two digits add up to 7? Which they must do from an arrow perspective. If they can't be 1, 6, and they can't be 3, 4. Well, the answer is they're 2, 5, and there's a 2 up here. So that's 2, that's 5. Oh, it's exactly analogous logic here. These have to add up to 7. And they're not 3, 4, and they're not 1, 6. So these are 2, 5 as well. I'm sorry, I'm just staring at that because I'm sure that this, I'm sure Sudoku resolves this, but I can't see why. I'm so sorry. I can't see why. That's going to make me look absolutely inept. Okay, but now, how do we make this work? Because now these have added up to 10, haven't they? So we are at an absolute minimum for those 6 digits of 21. So these have to be the other digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 that are not here. So these are 1, 4 and 6, and we know the 1 is on the diagonal. So that's 1. These are a 4, 6 pair. These squares are 7, 8 and 9 to complete the box. That's not 8. 4, 6. This is 7, 8 or 9. So that's got to be in one of those two positions. Oh, beautiful. Right. In fact, double beautiful, although not if you don't like singing. Where's the 3 in this box? It's not here. Because if it was, what would we put on this 2-cell arrow? It could, if this is 3, this arrow here would be a minimum of a 4, 6 pair, and 4 and 6 add up to 10, which we can't put into a Sudoku cell. And that means... That's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so 3 is interesting now. Well, in fact, there's all sorts of interesting things happening. This digit has to reappear on the positive diagonal, so it is there, and is 7, 8 or 9. 3 in this box by Sudoku, and... noting this can't be a 3 because there's a 3 already on its arrow and we've got to add this digit in. There's a 3 in one of those two cells, which are green or purple. And that is orange or green. Orange or dark green. Oh, I don't know. Sorry. Oh, I've got a 1 here, and I did work out there was a 1 in the 13 cage, so I can put that in now. So okay, so I've got 4 1s in the puzzle. That's all of the 1s. Don't know what to do. What's this digit then? That's got to be I want to say it could be a 6 bobbins. It's 4 or 6. That's all it can be. This is 7 or 9. Three. Oh no, because 3 could go here if that was a 6. Okay, here is a different sort of question. Where's 2 in box 4? There is a 2 in box 4, And it's not in this row by Sudoku. Now, if it's here, then this arrow adds up to 3, which doesn't work because there's a 3 here. So the 2 is in the 13 cage somewhere. Oh, I see. This is absolutely beautiful. Right, where is it? It's not in light green, because if it was in light green, it would go up here on the diagonal, and that would clash with this. So it is in orange. Oh, okay. So these are now both orange digits because we've got them in orange there. So they are not dark green. So the two other digits up here are dark green. These 2 digits add up to 10. So those 2 digits add up to 10. Oh, I was about to say that can't be a 3. That's not true. That could be a 7. And this would be 3, 7. This is the most peculiar puzzle. What about... 3? Can that be a 3? I think that's a very good question. If that's a 3, then, oh no, you see, 3 could be a purple digit or a green digit. Oh, here is a very simple question. Where is 5 in box 4? Because I've got a 5 here. Now, one thing we can't do is put a 5 into green, because these 2 digits add up to 10. So if I put 1 5 in, I'll have to put 2 5s in. So 5 is in one of those 2 squares, but it can't be in the blue square because the blue square transposes here and would be in the same column as the existing 5. So there is a 5 here, and that's huge. That is huge because now this arrow adds up to 8, which means that is not an 8, which means that is not an 8 because it repeats on the diagonal. I've now got a 7, 9 pair in the column, but I can't do Sudoku because it doesn't work like that. Although I have got a 7, 9 pair in box 2, so that might be an 8. So, and I have to put an 8 into this box, and it has to go there. There we go. So, now, what do we do with that knowledge? I don't know. This square here is a 4 or a 6 by Sudoku. I don't think that means that this isn't a 4, 6 pair. Ah, no. Well, actually this is a 3, 7 pair because I have to put 3 into box 4. And by Sudoku it's definitely in green. So this, oh, in fact it's exactly placed, it's there. So that's a 7 by mathematics, which means this is a 3, 7 pair, which I can fill in. Now that's a 7, that's a 9. 7's on the diagonal, so that's a 7, that's a 9. That's a 6 by maths, that's a 4. This is a 4, 6 pair. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Because if this is a 4, 6 pair, that's a 4 or a 6 by transposition, and it's a 6. So that's a 4. This is 5, if this is right. I don't know if this is right. We're going to have to do a lot of checking in a minute. Oh, look, yeah. So what's going on? The digits I've not put in. I haven't put 9 into this box, so that must be a 9. And I haven't put 4 in. So 9 and 4 turned out to be purple. So let's make them purple, which means those are green. That looks like it works, believe it or not, because I've got 8 and 5 in dark green, and they have turned out to be the same colour in box 4. That arrow adds up. That arrow adds up. That arrow adds up. That arrow adds up. The arrows might add up. I mean, this might well obey the rules, so I think it might be right. Yes. How long did that take? 36 minutes. That has flown past. 24 solvers. What? In 395 days? That is not many solvers. That's 2 people a month have solved this. Roughly. Wow. I thought this was a new puzzle. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. This is an old puzzle. Well, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It is very strange, actually. There's some sort of... I don't understand. What are they called? Quattro quadri. Yeah, it's a very peculiar thing. The way the arrows worked here, and the way you could sort of home in on the values of the differences, was very beautiful, actually. Very beautiful. It's a really unusual puzzle, I feel. And I loved it. There, I've said it. So let me know in the comments how you got on. If you did watch this video at 8:30, you've got about 45 minutes before we start streaming. Love to see you then. Let's see some love for dumediat in the comments of the stream later. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.